When my kids say I don't know, I said, you've said my favorite answer. I love things that are simple. And I think it's hard to make things simple sometimes.
We were like, well, what if we didn't actually have a coffee bean anywhere? I had started an oral care brand called Hello.
Yeah.
And a big part of the impetus behind the design language was literally seeing pictures of extracted teeth on all these toothpastes.
Yes.
And how the extracted tooth became an icon of good oral health, I find particularly ironic because the teeth should be in your mouth, right? My bride is a PhD in clinical psychology. I asked her, who's doing something really amazing in the world of mental health? And she did not pause for a picosecond. They're like, oh, NAMI. Like NAMI. And I said, well, what's NAMI? And she's like, oh my God. NAMI really helps people. I think if you have an idea and you work to make that idea real, you're an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
It could be a concept. It doesn't have to be a product. You never know what someone else is going through. And if you ask somebody, how's it going? That has to be more than just, a throwaway.
The power of doing a men's mental health podcast is we're both trying to promote happiness.
I never think about it like a choice.
Yeah.
Like we're just in it. How are we going to really engage and interact and show up the right way that's not going to feel bandwagon-esque or performative? And instead of thinking about purpose and mission, we need to think about responsibility. Wild.
Yeah.
This is different for me.
Yeah. Oh, well, wonderful. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you just feel comfortable talking to me because that's what I like doing, and I like meeting people, and I think the power of doing a men's mental health podcast is the power of just sitting across from a table and talking to another man and getting to know each other.
Yeah, it's great.
And in my opinion, we kind of do the same thing because we're both trying to promote happiness. Isn't that something?
Yeah, we're lucky.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But we also choose to do it.
We do. I never think about it like a choice.
Yeah.
I'm like we're just in it.
Yeah.
But when you take a step back, and sometimes it takes someone else to tell you because they have a little distance that you are making a choice. It's pretty cool.
What? That's a great point. That sometimes I don't know the good work that I'm doing or the things that I'm doing have an impact until other people tell me.
It's life.
But something within us is making us choose to do things that can have an impact. So, hey, congrats to you for all that you're doing.
Same. Yay, this is so great. This is great. All right, we're done, right? That was it? We're finished?
Can you fix that in post?
That could have been it. Wow.
But why the partnership with NAMI and Happy?
Why?
Yeah.
It came about in a very, I'm going to use a word that I'm like scratching my head, organic / natural / authentic way from a couple of different spots. One is, there's this word happy. And I was having this conversation with Robert Downey Jr., my co-founder, and he's like, not everybody's happy. Like, love it as a concept, it's great, but ... like, not everybody's happy. So is there something like we want to do or going to do? And I'm very lucky that I as well am someone who can say, hand on heart, I married up. And my bride is a PhD in clinical psychology. And I asked her, I said, who's doing something really like amazing that you know of from your world and at scale in the world of mental health and mental well-being? And she did not pause for a picosecond. Wow. It was like this visceral, immediate thing like, oh, NAMI. Like NAMI. And I said, well, what's NAMI? And she's like, oh my God. NAMI really helps people. Like they really help people. So I said, well, that sounds great. So it's not just sort of like some agency you haven't heard of or, it's like this is someone or a group of people that are really, really getting their hands around things and getting into the weeds, so to speak. So I researched a little bit about NAMI, was definitely floored and blown away by all things NAMI. And I'm not shy. And I went on to the LinkedIn and the Google and learned a lot more about NAMI and then was able to connect with someone at NAMI and have this great conversation. And one thing led to another and another. And
so you had a good impression of NAMI when you looked it up. It resonated positively for you because one of the things I think about is the branding and the marketing of a mental health organization. It can be somewhat challenging. When I see advertising sometimes for mental health services, it shows someone like they have a headache or something, and that's not very appealing. And I've always wanted to turn that around. Like, I think just having a conversation, like you and Robert Downey Jr. have talked about coffee being about family. To me, talking about health is family.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
I since starting this particular portion of my journey, the happy portion, even though, to be honest, it's really all been pretty happy. No one goes through unscathed. I've got plenty of horror stories and challenges along the way. But since starting happy, I've heard really trying and difficult stories of challenge from so many people every day. So you realize that this touches everybody. And when you're talking about everybody, the first thing you do when you internalize it and you look around yourself is you think about your family. You think about yourself and your family. So yeah, it's all family. Yeah. And then you realize you're not alone. So there's a broader family that may not be your blood relatives, but it doesn't matter. You have all these other shared experiences, and it's incredible. You know, if we can break down some barriers around stigma, sure, and around how to get help and how it's okay to ask for help and it's okay to need help, you know, this impacts everybody.
And how do guys like us make it more accessible to people? How do people find it?
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. So
you're great from some of the stuff I've read about you about simplification. It's such a powerful word for me. I love things that are simple. Some of the brands and things that you've worked on, they're so simple. And, you know, I think it's hard to make things simple.
Yes, I agree. It's hard to do simple.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of thought to make simple register for people, right? So right now, look, it's simple. We're both wearing a black T-shirt. You don't have to even worry about it, right? It's just a black T-shirt.
Both have short haircuts.
Exactly.
And
glasses. It's simple. It's easy. Just, you know, make life easy. Life is difficult. Yeah. So if there are ways to simplify things, it ends up being of great benefit because we're bombarded by a million other things that are taking attention or creating interest or pressure or distracting versus enhancing. There's always, again, something that's vying for your attention, whether that's attention that brings emotion or attention that doesn't matter. There's still a lot of forces at play. And to make simple that's effective and impactful takes a lot of thought. So I think about Google as an example, and I'm not a tech person by any stretch of the imagination. But when Google first launched, there was just a dialog box. You typed it whenever you wanted, and the magic was happening behind the scenes. Well, you know, to bring that level of simplicity and use primary colors in your, you know, in your identity and just kind of simplify it seems really easy. But everything that was going on behind the scenes to enable you to actually find what you wanted, when and how you wanted it, was incredibly complicated. So that was a way of making simple look easy. There's so many great examples, especially in tech. Apple, everything, right? It's just, swiping becomes intuitive, creating gestures for people becomes intuitive.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But the amount of work that went into that is also incredible. So
the perfect example is that my 9-year-old helps me with my phone.
100%.
Simplification is amazing, but it also presents challenges. Because because my 9-year-old has access to things sometimes that I don't want them to have access to. But simplifying things is powerful, in my opinion.
Well, we're surrounded by a lot of things that are vying for our attention, and when your attention tends to get, I don't want to say distracted, but overwhelmed, other things shut down. There's only so much capacity anybody has. And, everyone can, I shouldn't say everyone. I'm an entrepreneur. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and, we're multitasking and we're using sheer force of will to do this and that. And it's just sort of like, you gotta take a little, a little breath. You got to give your mind a little time to rest. You got to give your eye a little time to, look elsewhere. And it seems simple, but it ends up being really difficult to do.
Can I ask you, how do you catch someone's eye on a shelf? Example of it, I read this somewhere a long time ago, and it's never left me. I read something about cereal. And you walk down the cereal aisle in a grocery store, and of course they're trying to attract the children. Sure. So what they do is they have all these characters with these humongous eyes, and you're going to sell the cereal that has the character that has the biggest eyes. And I've never forgotten that. And every time I go down a cereal aisle in a grocery store, I see these humongous eyes just attacking me because they want the kid to say, "Mommy, Daddy, get that for me."
Or get me the bird, or get me the tiger, penguin, or get me the puffin, or the pirate. Right? I think what we were looking to try to do, going back to simplification, was to look at some of the memes of the category. And some, to me, aren't as much memes as they've become tropes and become almost in some ways at least for me, a butt of some jokes. So we were like, well, what if we didn't actually have a coffee bean anywhere? Like, what a crazy idea. You're a coffee company. It has to be a coffee bean. I had started an oral care brand called Hello.
Yeah.
And a big part of the impetus behind that endeavor and the design language was literally seeing pictures of extracted teeth on all these toothpastes. And next time you're looking around at toothpaste, because I know we're all so excited to look at toothpaste, take a look. Or when you go to the dentist, which I hope everyone goes to the dentist with some regularity, I would bet that there's a huge percentage, maybe the majority of oral care professionals that have a logo of some sort with an extracted tooth.
Yes, yes.
And how the extracted tooth became an icon of good oral health I find particularly ironic because the teeth should be in your mouth, right? Like a good healthy tooth is one that's not, like visible with the roots hanging out. And it's kind of like the pineapple is the symbol of hospitality.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's the least hospitable fruit in the world. It's like armed and barbed and ready to draw
and
blood from you.
Hard to get into.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's why it works. It's like, oh yeah, this is a place where like we'll take care of the pineapple for you. We'll peel it and get it ready. I don't really know the history behind the pineapple, but I do think it's kind of funny. So yeah, in coffee, the tropes are like it's got to be brown and or dramatic the other way. We have to use really bright colors because everything's brown and green and gold. So it's like either of these extremes. And I think when we thought about it, we're like, well, what else could we do? And the packaging, the shapes and the forms they're not special. There's no particular magic there. So spend a lot of time on that, and people choose with their eyes. They taste with their eyes, and to create something that visually was going to be. I think a word that gets used a lot is disruptive. People are like, oh yeah, you're a disruptor. Be disruptive. I think for us, it was we don't want to be disruptive. We want to be delightful, and if we delight enough, we end up being disruptive to the people who are not delighting that much, and then you end up standing out and being attractive. Someone looks at you and goes, whoa, look at that. I didn't know a coffee vessel could be shaped like that. I didn't know it could reseal like that. I didn't know I could reuse it or refill it or take my lunch in it. I just didn't think about that. Or the label comes off really easily, so you can just have this pure
container,
simple thing.
Yeah.
And it's 100% recyclable, which is also pretty cool. At the curb, side, you don't have to bring it somewhere to recycle it. People talk about recycling and recyclability, which is important, 100%. But what a lot of people also don't realize is that recycling for many is their livelihood. It's a business. So some things are technically recyclable, but the recyclers aren't making any money from those products, so they don't really recycle some of them. So to make something out of a material and at a size that actually is economically advantaged for the recycling stream wasn't an accident like we thought, or at least we try to think about all these things along the way. So how do we create value along the way and have values at the same time? So if we can bring in like aesthetic and ethic and value and values and put all this together, that was all in our thinking. It's just baked into everything we've been trying to do. So all that sounds hard. At least as I say it out loud, it seems like there's a lot of stuff, but that's the magic of what we were talking about before about simplicity, like making the hard choices up front behind the scenes so that when someone's looking at something, it's simple and immediate and has some conveyance of consideration. It's like visceral, like I get it. Someone actually thought about that. They don't have to think too much about it. They just know it and they feel it.
It's interesting because, as you speak about this, I think about, I'm so passionate about mental health and dealing with people that struggle, and it's just been a passion of mine since as far as I can remember. And as you talk about branding and marketing and capturing people's eyes, it's always been a struggle for me is how do I bring resources to people that need it? And so, hopefully we can sit here and learn from each other, and I can take some of your wonderful ideas about branding and capturing people that we can bring these services to people that need it. And so that's what I think as you talk about these things, because I think when I was, some of the definitions of you, I would say you're an entrepreneur, a free thinker, but I think everyone's an entrepreneur.
I couldn't agree more. I think if you have an idea and you work to make that idea quote unquote real, whatever real means, bringing it to life, you're an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
It could be a concept. It doesn't have to be a product.
Exactly.
It could be a formation of a group. It could be a formation of a new approach to thinking about something. And if you can share it with someone else and they adopt it and it matters to them, then I think you're an entrepreneur. You had an idea and you made it real, and real for somebody else. If it's business, you're, I think, a decent entrepreneur if you could make it real and then have someone want to join it and transact with it and do that profitably. That's terrific.
Yeah.
And if you can do it in a way where people can profit emotionally and at scale, thinking about what we're trying to do with NAMI, tying it back to that, that's, I think, really important. When we were talking internally with our team, we were talking about entrepreneurship, yes, and trying to create a company, yes, and build a brand, yes. And we were going through just this open dialogue about what that really means, what it could mean, how did we want to behave, how did we want to show up, what was important to us. And we were having this conversation. I remember tapping into something because a lot of companies, especially in the beginning, they're like, what's our mission statement? Let's talk about our purpose. And if you sense a little bit of sarcasm, I don't mean it to be snarky on my part to bring that up, but that's all good. It's great to have a purpose. It's great to have a mission. It tends to bring some focus and maybe a little bit of aspiration for the team. We're going to goal set and go after stuff, and that's all good. But the more we started to spend time thinking about NAMI and thinking about mental wellness as opposed to mental illness, and figuring out how are we gonna really engage and interact and show up the right way that's not going to feel presumptuous or bandwagon-esque or performative. What do we want to do? And kept thinking about mission and purpose. And since we unveiled this brand and what we were trying to do, every single day since that date, and I get a little choked up when I think about it, every single day I have heard from someone I know or someone I don't know or someone who I thought I knew really well about some form of personal tragedy or set of challenges that are significant around mental health. And what I said to our team is this is going to become a very, very important part of what we're doing, more so than I think we ever thought in the beginning. Instead of thinking about purpose and mission, we need to think about, again, not to create strata around people's intentions when it comes to starting something up, but at the risk of sounding like I'm going there, instead of purpose and mission, how about responsibility? What if we ratchet all that up? Because we're talking about people that aren't doing so great. Yeah. And a lot of brands talk about, we're an aspirational brand. It's that feels like a little, I'm going to also sound untoward, and I don't mean to. Not everyone's in a position to get close to that level of attainment of that quote unquote aspiration. And that almost seems a little, mean. We want to create things that are approachable and egalitarian and honest and kind and simple. And if we can make an iota of difference, I don't know, what's smaller, a picospeck of a difference. We're all connected, right? So we talked about family 100%. Earlier. There's a lot going on, not just your nuclear, but your extended family and your community. If we can make one droplet that matters in the right lake or pond, the ripples are going to be massive. So that's what we have to do. And the more we can talk about it and talk about it openly and say it's okay and we care and it's okay to give a hoot, the better off we're going to be. Yeah. We just have to unveil a little kindness.
What a great thing. I'm inspired by the fact that you got involved in this and that you've heard all these stories and that you've been inspired. So that's inspiring to me that by you partnering with NAMI, it's exposed more to you. And the same thing happened with me getting involved in NAMI, getting exposed. And, gratitude is the reason we find joy. We're gratitude for our own blessings and also just gracious to hear other people's stories, and at such an intense level. I think the more we talk about it, the more we all get involved in our own way. You got involved in one way, but the more we all get involved in it, the more we start to hear it, we're going to normalize it and break down some of that stigma.
100%. And I think for a lot of folks, it's hard to talk about anything, let alone mental health. Yeah. Something so personal and potentially scary. And I'm lucky to be in a long-term committed relationship with someone I was lucky enough to fall in love with a long time ago, and somehow she managed to, I think, like me enough to come on board. And I don't want to say she loves me too, but honey, if you're listening, I think you love me too. Anyway, we have this very loving relationship, and we have 2 children, and there's a lot that happens with children these days. There's a lot that happens with parenting. There's a lot that doesn't happen with children and doesn't happen with parenting. Yeah. And in the same vein of simplification, I remember spending a lot of time repeating over and over at different times of our kids' lives that life is certainly complicated, but there's time for calculus and there's time for arithmetic. And the basic arithmetic of you put positive out, you're going to get more positive back. You put negative out, and there's a high likelihood you're going to get some negative back. So trying to instill this sense of like, be a good listener, be kind. You never know what someone else is going through. All these things that seem very, I think to us as people that are trying to be open-minded and grateful and appreciative and warm towards others, this might be very normal for us, but to just kind of keep passing that along, especially to younger people, like it's key. You never know what someone else is going through, and you can't assume that they're having the greatest day. And if you ask somebody how's it going, that has to be more than just a throwaway. Yeah,
exactly.
line.
It's just a cliche line. Well, one of the tools I use with my children, and I'm proud of my parenting, so I'm doing pretty well, I think. I use the tool of I don't know with my kids. I love to work on cars. And man, they can get really complex. And the first step when I open up a hood is I look at this and I'm like, I don't know. So if you can start with I don't know, then you can start to build and start to learn things. But if you open it up and you think, okay, this is how it's supposed to be, then you're just going to get confused. But if you can start from I don't know. So I don't know if that's a good tool or if other parents use that, or some people are just like fake it till you make it.
No, I think
what do you
that
think?
sounds great.
I love that
You
answer.
use this word that I haven't thought about before, which is supposed. Like, it's such a loaded word because it sets up expectations.
As a man, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah, it just immediately sets up expectations. Like, this is supposed to be what you do. This is supposed to be what you're, to know already about this thing. Yeah. It just presupposes so much. And I think that sets up a lot of hurdles and probably sets a lot of people back and stops a lot of people from trying things. Yeah. Because, at this age, I'm supposed to do this.
Supposed to make it by the time I'm 30.
Oh, God, I hear that all the time. I hear that. So I've been an entrepreneur for a while, and you were constantly building teams, and we're in a lot of constant contact. And I remember on multiple occasions, folks wanting to leave wherever they were working to come and be part of, company X, right? Whatever it was. And I'd have some folks that would talk with me, and they would tell me all the things that they were supposed to have accomplished at this time. Yeah. And they wanted to make these moves because, in their mind, they were supposed to hit this level of cultural, economic, professional status, and I'm supposed to be. And I remember one person in particular, it sounded like they were reading off of a spreadsheet they had, because they had literally like mapped it all out. And I remember speaking with this person, I said, do you have a spreadsheet? Because it kind of sounds like you're going like cell by cell in a spreadsheet. Do you have like a Gantt chart? And she was really embarrassed. It was a phone call. She went, oh my God, like, could you tell? And I said, yes, I can tell, because like, it sounds very forced, and I felt very bad because she was setting up these timeline points like on an array she had, and by this date and time I should be at this level, and that's rough because
the Chat GPT interview, right? The Chat GPT interview answers.
Yeah, it just doesn't work that way, and to think that you might be less than because you didn't hit this timeline that someone else or some form of media said you were supposed to achieve is very it's a big challenge. And the other thing is, most of these timeline moments, these markers, were created by someone else who's probably trying to sell you something.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
how
It's
do
my
you-
belief that we're constantly attacked by influences of people that are trying to sell us something.
Something. So, it's very, it's a tough time. It's a tough time, and we're addicted to devices that are, there's an algorithm and it knows the things you looked at and liked, and it's going to serve up stuff, and
Isn't that something?
And it looks good. It's eye candy. I want that.
We have all these people in bubbles that are being constantly fed opinions that they already believe. So that just separates us even more, unfortunately. You don't see the opinions of other people. As soon as you start making choices and click on certain things, you're just going to be fed that one side of that story.
Right.
And that causes isolation and loneliness, all these problems that are at an epidemic level as far as I'm concerned. And for men especially, I think expectations and the loneliness are big factors in men being unhappy, unfortunately. And some of the expectations of men were built with bricks that are no longer valid. From generations of just expectations that a man is supposed to be this and do that, and you and I both are married to powerful women, and so those expectations of we have to do everything and all the pressures on a man, those no longer exist. But if you carry those around as a man still, you're not going to function to full capacity in this world.
100%. As I listen to you, my immediate memory, my recall reflex is of my wife saying to me, "What are you doing?" And it was an honest question.
My wife says that to me all the time.
Yeah, and it was around career-related stuff. I used to be a trader, a futures trader, a derivatives trader, and I can't say I liked it. I cannot say that was my life's work and my calling. And I had like stomach issues, and I would not sleep, and I traded out of London, Sydney, and Singapore, so my hours were very wacky for a long time. And my wife said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, we have children, and we want to have more or we had a child at the time. We want to have another child, and we live in New York City, and it's expensive, and there's going to be schooling, and it's just life. And I didn't marry you for your earnings potential. I married you because we have shared values and we love each other, and so I'm the guy. I have to make the money because I'm the guy. I'm the breadwinner."
Yeah.
And she stopped me and she said, That's all on you. That's in your head. Not all on you to be the breadwinner. It's all on you that you're thinking this way, because I don't think that way. I don't think you're the breadwinner and you have to provide. You're you're the male provider here. We're hunter gatherers. You're the provider. I'm going to gather. You're going to hunt, and we're going to eat what you kill. What kind of primordial? That's
ingrained though, a little
Yeah.
bit in society. It is there.
100%. And it was, believe me, it was deeply imprinted on me. And she said, you shouldn't think that way. And that you have one life as far as we know, and you love what you love, and that is not what you love. And what are you doing? I'd be happy if we live in a tent. That's what she said. She's like, I don't care. We're together. It's great.
You did marry up.
100%. I every day, believe me, I look up and say thank you to whatever magical properties exist in the world that brought her into my life. 1,000%. Yeah. And she changed my life, because she's like, you don't have to fall for that. We're a team, we're a couple, we're together, and what can't we do? Yeah. We're trying to be kind and appropriate and nice, and we'll figure it out. What can't we do? Don't do that thing that's making you miserable because you have fallen into the trap of these societal norms that have been created by whatever the forces are over many, 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 many centuries at this point that have created them.
Well, my wife is a CEO, and as her career started to take off, early on, we had a chat. We had to sit down and have a chat, and she said, "I just want to make sure that you're going to be okay with this as my career starts to take off. As a man, are you going to be okay with that?" I'm going to, and I was like, "Oh, baby, I want you to take off. I'll help you take off." Yeah. Even though sometimes it means less attention for me. But she married the right guy, because I had no problem in my ego with marrying a woman who was on her way to being powerful. And now she is. And I couldn't be prouder of her and happier for her. And it doesn't affect my ego at all to be around a powerful woman.
It's amazing. Yeah. I'm very happy for you, and I get it. it's amazing, and I think we're talking about ego and male
Exactly.
ego, and
Exactly.
it's very hard to let go. I was very proud of this company I'd started before called Hello, that we had. And I was the founder, CEO. It's a startup, right? You're like everything, bottle washer, janitor, like, we're a small group of people. And as we grew, I had no problem saying, you know what, I want a chief executive officer. I don't need to be that. I don't care what my title is. I just want to make amazing things people can fall in love with that are fabulous. So what I was really excited about was at the end of the day, we had a female CEO, we had a female head of marketing, we had a female head of sales, we had a female head of R&D. Like, we were mostly women in the senior roles. We had a man finance lead and a male finance lead and a male supply chain logistics lead, but all the other, sort of significant leadership roles in the company were all filled by women, which was awesome. And I think a lot of that came down to, because people would ask me, like, you have all these women, you have a woman CEO? I'm like, yeah, what's the difference? And by the way, I am lucky, my wife and I are lucky to have a son and a daughter. And I used to say all the time, I don't ever want my daughter to feel disadvantaged because her brother can pee standing up and she might want to sit. Like, the fact that would make a difference in anything is ridiculous. Yeah. So having, again, a strong, open-minded son and a strong, open-minded daughter, because I have a strong, open-minded bride, like, that was the key. And like, we have to work hard as men to erase this. There's been so much wrong imposed on women. I mean, who designed high-heeled shoes?
Oh my goodness,
It was a man. Like, all these things, it's how could that ever be comfortable? How could that ever be good for your posture, your back, your knees, your hips?
But they are appealing, in my opinion.
Well, it's just
to my man's eye.
No, I get it. I know why it's designed. It elongates the calf. But, like, really, like, it's like all these. There's just a lot of challenges that we still need to break through.
Women dress for women anyway. They don't dress for men.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that the truth?
I think we should all just dress for success, everyone. No, just, whatever works for you.
Well, I think you talked about ego. I think some of the harsher qualities of men come from ego, the depression, the alcoholism, abuse, and things. The men's behavior that has been not so positive comes from broken ego, broken pride. So I think that brings out the worst in men, to have those expectations. What is the opposite of ego?
Wow.
Acceptance, humility.
I think maybe honesty.
Honesty, really?
I think to some degree, because it's like what you were saying about opening the hood of the car and saying, I don't know. Like, that's a very egoless approach, and you're removing any expectation. Right? So you're not supposed to know. It's very honest and real. And at that point, you're making yourself not only vulnerable, which is the downside for a lot of men, but you're actually opening yourself up, because to admit that you don't know and to be really honest about it is how you're going to let a lot of the light into your world, right? It's, my favorite, one of my favorite lyrics is Leonard Cohen, there's a crack in everything, that's how the light gets in. And I think saying you don't know might be like a chink in the armor for a lot of men. It might be the crack. There's a lot of good stuff that's going to come in. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to feel things a little differently. Yeah. You're going to appreciate other people and what they may bring to the party or what they're going through differently. That's really powerful.
Well, I think you're right. And in that I don't know formula that I've developed, that's not something I read somewhere. That's just something I came up with on my own. I think the salesman technique, if you don't know the answer, pretend you know the answer. And that always annoyed the hell out of me. I don't feel weak when I say I don't know. And I'd say it quite a bit. And it doesn't always get a positive reaction, because people want an answer or they want to feel better by my answer.
Right.
But I don't see vulnerability as being weak.
I agree. I think another person who might be around you when you say I don't know has a lot more respect for what you do know, because it's very believable when you're sharing something else, because you had no problem saying, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I always say, if I don't know, I say I don't know, which is a way also of kind of validating when I say something else, because it's something that I feel I do know about. And I think that can end up instilling a little bit more confidence in whoever else, you're sharing with. Because it's honest. They know when you say, I don't know, you're not trying to fake it. And people have a bullshit meter.
Oh, yeah.
And they can tell. They're like, that's a bullshit answer. Like, what are you doing? So, I don't know, man. I love
well,
that.
I don't know is also positive. A lot of people could take it as like, I don't know and I give up. But mine is like, I don't know, but I'm sure as hell going to figure this out. So that's what my I don't know is. I look at I don't know with excitement.
It's a door opener. Yeah.
It's excitement. It's possibility. It's endless. I don't know has no limitations. It's like, I'm going to find out. I'm going to figure this out. And
That's like the ellipsis. It's I don't know, ...
Yes.
But
exactly.
I'm going to figure out.
I don't know is exciting for me.
Yeah, possibility.
Exactly. And it's a great way to see the world and to view the world and to view some of this work we're doing. So like, where is this going to lead? We don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's jump in and care and work with dignity and also maximize the potential of earnings and outreach or whatever it is. Let's go for it.
Yeah, you can do it all.
Yeah.
I'm a subscriber to this notion of if you don't try, you've already failed because you didn't even try, right?
Yeah.
So what's the worst thing that happens if you try?
Yeah.
You learn something, you mess up, you understand why you messed up, you'll mess up a little less next time. No one goes through unscathed. There's no straight shot to whatever the thing is you're viewing as success. So, just try. What else can we do? Like, if we can't talk about it, you can't even ever get there.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Like, if you can't dream it and you can't say it out loud, how's anybody else ever going to, help you or join in and make it better?
Something you said out loud is like you were working at a job that made you miserable and made your stomach hurt. And a lot of people that have found success have worked in jobs that were really crappy. And a lot of people might be working in a crappy job right now. But if you say, I don't know, and the possibilities are endless, like I can find something that's going to make me happy eventually too. If you keep trying, you'll find
that's
it.
The thing. And it may not be like, it's okay if you have to have a JOB.
Yes.
I have had JOBs. I've worked in the produce department of supermarkets and stacked fruit, and I've lifted boxes and worked in a warehouse lifting motorcycle tires, all day, and you come home and your fingernails are like the La Brea tar pits, and it takes like a year to get rubber out from underneath your fingers. We've all done different things, and it's okay. Like to actually take pride in your work, whatever it is another gift.
Absolutely.
In America, it's interesting. Like if you're in another country, and if we're in LA right now, and I'm a little bit of a stranger in a strange land because I'm from the East Coast and it's very different out here. But I've spent time in some other countries, and if you're working in a restaurant here, it's because you're an actor, an actress, or something. At least that's the general stereotype for sure. Right or wrong, it's just a stereotype.
Yeah.
If you're in other parts of the world, you could be a waiter or waitress as your entire career,
profession,
and that's not looked down upon.
Yeah.
And I think somehow we have to get to a place where what you do to pay rent or a mortgage or whatever is not the defining thing. Yeah. And you can create happiness and art and joy in your life. Kafka worked in the post office, right? Like, you can do a lot of things and still be happy. And I think going back to what we were saying earlier about aspirations and some of the norms that are quote unquote supposed to be the attainable aspiration North Star for so many people, like how do we move away from that? And that's going to be tricky because the business of selling a lot of expensive things to people is a business.
Well, I'm so glad that you are probably, an amazing salesman, one of the best probably, and yet you also mentioned that it's not about bullshit.
No, people can read through it. So my thing has been to try to make beautiful products and beauty defined a lot of ways, whether it's natural or transparent or organic or just more aesthetically pleasing, whatever it is, better, however you want to define it, make it available to more people. That to me is the really cool thing. If you make something and it's beautiful and it's incredible, but the 1% might be able to get it, I don't think that's so cool. Like one of the things I love, anyone who I know who loves brand and product, everyone generally seems to at least admire Apple, right? For the design aesthetic and the success of the company, the stock price and all that kind of stuff. But I think what they've done that's so incredible is they've made something that's fairly ubiquitous and still made it cool. Like, people love their products. And it used to be cool meant exclusive. I found it before the next person, so that's my cultural currency, that kind of stuff. The fact that you can make something that is so widely available and so desirable and actually so aesthetically pleasing is really unbelievable. And I think if we can do that with whether it's coffee or toothpaste or lip balm or cleaning products, stuff in my past, you can do it with anything. And it ends up being a big win because more people are more pleased. And sure, it could be more recyclable and more, eco-friendly. Like, that's another bonus. Wow. It's more attuned to folks, like, in terms of thinking about happy and our NAMI relationship. It's also really cool, interesting, different, hopefully important, because it's bringing light to this bigger issue. So, like, to be able to do things at scale in an honest way, to use that word honest again, is, I think, a big challenge, but the rewards are going to be great, because the reward here is if more people can know that there's a really great product with a lot of care that went into it, sure, 1,000%. Our coffee's amazing. I hope if you haven't tried it yet.
Oh, I have.
It's really good. Like, we were very considered about where we sourced and how we blended it and the temperature of the blending and the level of sustainability and transparency in the process of working with the growers we work with, all that stuff. But being able to make that available to more people and to also be able to say, hey, by the way, like, someone you love or someone you care about might have something that's making them not so happy. It might be you. And by the way, it's as easy as clicking right here. You can point your beautiful phone at this QR code. You can pick up the phone. You can dial a toll-free number. Like, there are people who are going to do their best to provide help, and hope is there. And that's a big win. And if you can put, again, all this stuff together, I think we're all going to be better off. And are we going to hopefully make product available to more people? Of course. That's what we want to do. We want more people to know about it. Again, going back to what I said before, those ripples. Like, if you help one person, if there's one person who goes, I didn't know this existed, it's a win. I'll tell you a true story. We were in the manufacturing facility. The cubes had come in, these coffee, we call them cubes, even though it's not really a cube technically, but a cuboid thing. And we got these special labels that are 100% recyclable labels, which is kind of cool. Curbside recyclable. So we're very excited. And there was no equipment yet to apply these labels through automation. All these things were applied by hand.
Wow.
So we're all down there because we're a startup. We're entrepreneurs. Like, we're in it. There's no, like, we outsource. You can't outsource soul. And when it's your baby, you're going to be around it, right? So we're in this facility and we're wrapping labels. We're building jigs to put products in and wrap the labels around and make sure it's all precise and exactly the way it should be. And there was a break in the action when we were, like, making adjustments. And there were folks that were working all by hand with us, like, on a line. And we took this break, and some of the folks working on the line were reading the label. They were, like, basically doing some manual labor, but now they had this break, and they're reading. And one of the people came over and said, this is amazing. Does this work? Like, this phone number? Yes, it absolutely works. And then they said, so, like, does this also work in Spanish? And we said, yes, but why don't we just call it right now together? And so we called, and yes, you push a number and you can talk and listen in Spanish. And this person who was working on the line then started speaking Spanish to a whole bunch of other people that were on this line with us. We were down in Arkansas doing this work, and they started speaking with each other about what NAMI is, what NAMI does, and they were sharing this, and people were lighting up. And we were so excited because we thought, okay, this is meaningful. This has nothing to do with economics or strata or where you are. This affects everybody. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. It's, this isn't anything we've taken lightly. This is the most important work we're going to do. So
That's great, Craig.
Yeah,
That's great.
we're really excited. Again, if we can help just one person, if there's one person on a production line who just, reached out, got a little bit of help.
It's a great metaphor of the ripple effect. And you're not only helping the person that's going through the issue, but you're helping all their family members
100%.
as well. Because they're living with that person.
100%.
Well, it's been part of my passion for the past few years to brand men's mental health, to make it something more appealing that men will want to click and be interested in. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I want to let you know that I don't know. But I'm very hopeful.
That's fantastic.
Part of it is doing this podcast and finding ways to get men to sit across a table and talk with each other. It's been my mission, and you joining me here today is helping do that. Me, I find most people fascinating. I'm a guy that can talk to everyone. I can go to a party, and I won't talk. I'll be the guy in the corner. I don't talk a lot. But that doesn't mean I'm not interested in people. I love talking to people, and meeting new people, I think, is such a powerful tool.
People are amazing.
Yeah.
And yes, to be able to talk and listen to another person, I think it's really why podcasts have really taken off.
I agree.
Because before it used to be called talk radio.
That doesn't sound good to me.
No, it doesn't sound.
I never liked that stuff.
Me neither.
Aggressive and
right. It's like
mean-spirited.
and it's like unfortunately a lot of social media is like people get these very strange. The term that was shared with me, which made me a little uneasy, was cyber muscles. This weird, like we're going to flex and we're going to be, it's so aggressive and so not necessary.
Yeah.
So just to be able to talk to somebody, and I know there's been a lot of research about that. Like if you're feeling lonely, loneliness is a real thing, and it's affecting a lot of folks, and understatement. And if people feel comfortable, just call somebody.
Yeah.
Like call somebody. There are a lot of people who care about you. So I stress that to people. There are a lot of folks that you may not even realize that really care about you that do. And if you just, most people have a phone. If you're listening to this, you most likely have a phone. Call
or a
somebody.
computer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just even say hello. And also just to see how someone else is doing.
That's right.
Is incredible. Even if it's 2 seconds, I mean, just 2 seconds. I was on my way over here. My dad pinged me. I'm lucky to have my dad. He's like, hey, how's it going? Oh, going great. I'm on Sunset Boulevard. Like, it's unbelievable. Love you, gotta go.
Yeah.
And he was like, love you too, gotta go. Like, it's enough. Like,
Absolutely.
it's enough. It's an acknowledgement of the other person's existence. It's an acknowledgement of the other person, giving enough of a hoot to think about you, to reach out in the first place. It's a gift to the person you're calling, even if you're the one who needs a little empathy, because people want to help other people.
Absolutely.
It feels amazing to help somebody.
People love to hear from other people. And as a
100%.
man, you don't always have to call another man. I have a lot of female friends. So as a man, pick up the phone, call a family member, call a female friend, call a guy friend, call someone. Usually people like to hear from you. And, men need to pick up the phone more, I think.
I think so too. Like, even if it's just, hey, I was just thinking about you, because people pop into my head all the time. And when that happens, and if I'm in a position to do it, I was like, hey, I'm going old school. I just thought I'd call you. It's not all the time that someone picks up. And when someone does pick up, I usually say, oh my God, this is amazing. You picked up. I'm going to go play lotto today, because clearly this is a very lucky day for me. Yeah, it's the best. So yeah, call. I've been giving out my phone number forever. And people are like, you give out your phone number? I'm like, yeah, I love people.
Yeah.
People are amazing. They're like, has anyone ever done anything, inappropriate? I'm like, no.
I don't think
people
so
are
with me
epic.
either. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyone wants to call me, you can call me. Find me on LinkedIn, call me. I have an easy phone number. I'm happy to give it out.
Careful. This is going to go out to millions.
That's hey, listen.
It's so popular.
All right. Well,
It will be.
Okay, good. I hope so.
I don't know.
All right. No, we can go for it. But yeah, I mean, people feel free and call me. I love people. People are amazing.
We'll put that in post.
Okay. Yeah, you can. 91739.
No,
don't give it. All right. So, all right. Well, I won't give it. But I do give my phone number out. People are amazing, and people want to help, and people are generally kind. And for the few that aren't, it's usually a sign that there's something else wrong. And maybe you could be helpful with those people too, just by saying, there are people that can be helpful.
Yeah. And, us today, you don't always have to talk about men's issues to deal with men's issues, because it's universal. It's not about gender.
Yeah, exactly. This is, it's interesting when people use terms like gender fluid and we like to label things.
Yeah.
It makes people feel comfortable for whatever the reasons are. Maybe it's because it's like now that thing as the other, and that creates some distance, and people are comfortable with distance sometimes.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we are so much more the same and connected than not. And for some reason, it feels like it's a strange human condition where we want to create tribes or groups or segments or sectors or ways of thinking that separate us more than bring us together.
Yeah.
And people ask me, like, why'd you do coffee? I'm like, because people love coffee, and like they have a coffee with someone, it brings people together. How do we bring more people together? That's the key thing. So people are like, well, this is my group. I vote this way, or my religion is this thing. Last I checked, and I don't mean to get into secular stuff, but most religions I know of have this like really interesting thing. They focus on family and values and food,
bringing people
and
together,
gifts, and we have this festival, lights are involved.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's interesting. That could be Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Diwali, like wait, and food is involved, and gifts, and friends, and like this is great. Well, isn't that kind of all the same? Like, but no, I believe this, and I believe, and it's like, well, but it's all about. I thought it was about family and food and gifts and values and being kind, and so there's so much more similarity and overlap.
Yeah.
And I think, if we can break down as many barriers as we can and realize we're much more similar than not, the ability to be really honest and say, I don't know, and to change the suppositions along the way so that people can feel a bit more comfortable with where they are and who they're with, we're all going to be much better off.
It's also conversation.
Always.
We've had a wonderful one just now, so I really appreciate you spending the time with me.
Oh, please, this is a gift for me, so thank you.
Yeah, it's been, also one of my goals of doing a podcast. I wanted a podcast to be like a first date. Because I didn't want to interview people. It's fascinating to me. And to sit here and listen to someone talk about themselves all day. I wanted to have a conversation. Because if you went on a date with someone and all they talked about was themselves, that'd be kind of boring.
Well, yeah, I think we're at the point now where we can have one dessert between us, and if our forks touched,
well, we're dressed
it'd be
alike.
okay.
That's right. We have the black T-shirt.
That's right.
The glasses. We're married to powerful
Jeans,
women.
exactly.
We're grateful. We're doing work that helps people. So we could share a dessert.
Let's share
Do you
a
like
dessert.
tiramisu?
That's right. Yeah, I'm in.
Let's call it then.
Yeah, this is amazing. Thank you
so much, Craig.
Thank you for.
Each year, 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental illness. And 17% of youth ages 6 to 17 experience a mental health disorder. At NAMI, the first thing we want anyone to know is you are not alone in your mental health journey.
I just really want to talk about so people know that you don't have to go through it alone.
NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. We started as 2 moms, gathered around a kitchen table in 1979. And today, we are an alliance of more than 600 local affiliates and 48 state organizations who work in your community to raise awareness, build advocacy, and provide support and education. NAMI envisions a world where all people affected by mental illness live healthy, fulfilling lives supported by a community that cares. Every year we are expanding, no matter race, religion, age, or sexual identity. We are people with lived experience, families and loved ones, survivors and advocates, and together, we will fight the stigma surrounding mental health and create a better world for the sake of all of us. We have resources for you and can't wait to become an extension of your family. We are here for a healthier world. We are here for better mental health. We are here for each other. Join us.